Okay, my name is Clint, and this is Yin Yoga. And today we're going to start, I'll give a quick little blurb on this first pose that we're going to do. My favorite teacher of all time was also my teacher trainer, Linda Kay. And I took a lot of classes from her, and some of the classes, and she taught Hatha, and only rarely, I think I only took maybe 2 or 3 Yin classes from her in the 6 years that I practiced with her. But in the Hatha classes, after about 8, 10 months, I realized that whenever she started a class in the pose of a child, watch out, it was going to be a really physical class. So this is Yin, so you don't have to worry too much. But this, I've added some Yang to the Yin, and Yang is just the Hatha version. And what we're going to be doing is a spinal twist, and you'll be on one knee. Some of you may know it as bird dog, but it's like this. And if you have a difficult knee, you can use a towel. You can roll up the towel like this, then wrap it around your fist and make a nest. You can put that down, and then you get no weight at all onto your patella, which ought to be pretty comfortable. But anyway, that's for later. Not much later. But so to get into the pose of a child, come to a kneeling position, spread your legs wide. Now, you can really bring your legs super wide if you want. I use a towel to extend my mat. Bring your toes together, or even if you want to make this into more of a frog pose, you can. But from here, I always like to start with my glutes down on top of my heels, so I know where I'd like to keep my glutes, but my butt's going to pop up anyway. But walk your hands forward, bringing your head and your chest down towards the mat. Now you can use a towel under your head, a block under your head, or under your collarbones or sternum. And when you get to the position that is a bit relaxing, just pause there, let your elbows come down to the mat, your forearms and your hands. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and exhale through your nose. Take another cleansing breath into your nose. Exhale through your nose. Now let your breath come to its own natural rhythm, in and out through your nose. Throughout today's practice, all you will need is your normal, everyday breath. The breath that has kept you healthy this far in your life. There's no need to improve it, make it better, make it stronger, because it's doing what your body needs it to do, deliver oxygen. And by breathing in and out through your nose, you're cleaning the air, you're moistening it as it runs through your sinus cavities, and you're bringing it up to temperature so that when it finally arrives down in your lungs, it'll be at the perfect temperature and perfectly clean so that the exchange of oxygen into your lungs and carbon dioxide from your lungs can be made without any interference. Breathing in and out through your nose is important because it also increases the air pressure in your lungs. So you get more oxygen in your lungs and you can absorb more with each breath. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, rise up into table pose. Get your knees directly below your hips, your wrist crease directly below your shoulders, and do a few cat-cows. So on your inhale, your belly will drop, your chest comes forward, your sit bones lift and separate. And then exhale, round your spine, tuck your tailbone under, and your chin comes towards your chest. Do this at your own pace. And the next time you come to center, pause. The first pose that we're going to do is the Yin Yang Pose. And so to begin with, lift your right foot up, stretch that leg out towards the wall behind you, push your heel away, engage in your hamstring, and then take your left leg or your left hand, reach out and karate chop the floor as far in front of you as you can reach, and then drag that arm back into your arm socket. From here, just raise it up like you're about to shake hands with Bob Dole. Your gaze should be down on the mat, just inside your right hand. I want to just sneak a peek to make sure that that right foot is up about hip width, hip height. Then on your next exhale, bring your elbow to your knee in a crunch. And inhale back out. Exhale, crunch. Inhale back out. One more. Exhale, crunch. Inhale back out and pause here. Now we have my favorite pose, which is awkward airplane. And if you've never done it, you're in for a treat. From here, bring your left arm way out to the side and your right foot way out to the right. Up about hip width apart, above the floor. And then inhale, back to center. Exhale out wide. Inhale back to center. Exhale back out wide. Pause here. And then lower that right foot. Lower your left hand down. From here, walk your hands back and come up onto that left knee. Now your right foot should be roughly in line with your left knee. Your toes should be pointed forward. From here, this is gate pose. Now, lift your left arm up towards the ceiling or reach high. Your right hand can be on your leg. And then on an exhale, slowly let that right hand go down your leg as you come into a right side bend. Now you may want to look up at the eye of your elbow, but try not to come forward. That would be a twist. And you'll have other opportunities for that. If you'd rather bend that left elbow, bring that arm behind your back, you may. Might be an easier way for you to keep your left arm in the right position. But whatever works for you. Now here you're stretching your groins. You're opening up your left chest, bringing more space in between your ribs by stretching those intercostal muscles. And then on your next inhale, rise all the way back up. Bring your hands back down to the floor in front of you. Come back into table and do a couple cat-cows. Make sure that your blocks are somewhere within reach. And on your next time you come to center, pause. And on an inhale, lift that right foot up and back. Push that heel away again. And then on your exhale, bring that right foot alongside your right pinky toe finger. Coming into my, well, it's no longer my worst pose, but it's close. You can walk that left heel back an inch or so, coming into dragon. Now, with your hands on the mat, that's called high flyer dragon, or you can come up, bring your hands to your knee, and this is up to you. Doesn't matter. You can overstep with your right knee, but keep your right heel down so that you can stretch your Achilles and your calf. Make sure that your hips are square to the front. Sometimes that left hip wants to just wander back, and so your hips would be pointed off towards the front left side of your mat. Try to drag that right hip back, left hip forward. But what you're trying to do is bring weight into your hips so your hips can come all the way down to the mat. I see everybody has more space. You see some of these 30-year-olds, primarily women, who are literally, their hips are on the mat doing this pose. Well, that's in another lifetime, probably when I'm 3. So from here, we have an alternative. You can bring your hands back down to the mat. If you overstepped, make sure that your knee is directly above your ankle. You may want to walk your foot forward, or maybe you don't have to. But this is a low-flying dragon, and frankly, if you know what the alternatives are, you can do whatever is best for your body today. But for low-flying dragon, you can bend your elbows, you can come all the way down onto the mat. Now, if the floor is too low, you can always come down on a block or two. But it's best if you keep your shoulders at about the same height. Before class, I was bragging about getting into lotus pose, but there's one that I'm still working really hard at called Marichi. It's a twist where you get your you get your shoulder in front of your knee. And this pose certainly is a big help, but I'm still months away, if not years. This pose is working on your iliopsoas, primarily your psoas. Your left psoas is being stretched in a straight line from the top of your femur up to your lower vertebrae. The right one is really flexed. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, bring your hands back down to the mat. Push the floor away. Remove any blocks you might have and walk your hands back towards your left knee until you can bring your right leg back to meet the left. From here, you can stay in table, do a couple of cat-cows, make big circles with your hips, or you can curl your toes under and lift your hips up and back into down dog. And remember, if you have tight hamstrings, just walk your feet out to the outer edges of your mat. And the next time you come to center, carefully lower your knees down. From here, sit down on your favorite hip and swing your feet around to the front of the mat. And then come all the way back down onto your back. Spread your heels towards the front of the mat. Bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Then rotate them down towards the far wall. Stretch your palms away from your heels. Your fingers away from your toes. And then bring your arms back down to the front side of your body. Make sure you have one block handy. And then walk your footprints up towards your sit bones. To begin, tuck your tailbone under. Inhale and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. And stay here a couple of breaths in bridge. Draw your heels towards your shoulders isometrically. And then carefully lower them back down. This time, grab your block the flat way and get the longer width, the 9-inch width, going from left to right across your hips, because as you lift up the next time, you'll place that block directly underneath your sacrum. Be carefully come back down. From here, raise that right foot up onto the ceiling. Push the heel away. You can really feel that hamstring in this position. And then bend that right knee. Bring it over the top of your left thigh. We're coming into reclining swan, reclining pigeon in Hatha language. From here, all you have to do is lift your left knee up to reach that right hand between your legs, behind your left thigh, or if your arms are long, you can make a line across the front of your shin and draw that knee towards your chest. Swan targets your glutes and your hip side. Now, the reason why you're on a block is that this is an easier way to do the pose so that you don't have to work so hard and gravity is magnified. Now, if you'd like to modify this to get more intensity, you certainly can by drawing in a little bit harder with your hands, or maybe moving your right foot down towards your left hip crease. You can also dial in to which part of your glutes you'd like to feel this most. You may not even know where you're feeling this. So close your eyes here. And we have quite a few new people, so bear with me, my students that are here all the time. It's been clinically proven that if your eyes are closed, nobody can see you. So you can just reach that right hand behind your right glutes. You just feel where the tension is. And merely by touching your muscles on the outside, you're giving those muscles permission to soften. Now you can move that right knee farther over to the right, bringing your foot close to the top of your left thigh, or you can do it the opposite way. And you move where you feel this in your glutes. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next exhale, release your bind. Allow your left foot to rotate down to the mat. Lift that right foot up towards the ceiling again, push the ceiling away. And bring that right foot down next to the left. Lift up, remove the block. Come back down. Draw your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. Push your hips away and rock from left to right. Massage the length of your spine. And the next time you come to center pause, from here, bring your arms out into T. And on an exhale, lower your knees off to the left. Coming into Spinal Twist. Now maybe your head can turn towards your right hand. Your head needs a little bit more space. Just move your head to the right. If that right knee is still high in the air, you can use a block in between your knees, or you can rest that left hand on top of your right knee. You should be feeling this stretch from your right hip all the way up to your left chest, left shoulder. And if you'd like to get a little bit of a stretch on your IT band, just straighten out that top leg towards the far wall, the side wall. Again, you can rest your hand on that leg. If you have a leg that's up in the air, you put it up. Again, the goal here is to soften your muscles. Soften your lower abdomen. Soften your glutes. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, release any binds you may have. Come back to center. Draw your knees into your chest. Rock from left to right, or make circles on the ceiling with your knees. And then you can make circles the other direction. In the next pose, we'll start at the table. And maybe the easiest way to get there would be to cross your ankles and rock forwards and backwards. Or you can come over to your side and push the floor away with your hand. Swing your feet around and find yourself in the table. Do a couple more cat cows. And the next time you come to center, pause. From here, lift your left leg up and back, pushing your left heel towards the far wall. Really feel that hamstring pushing, being pulled. And then karate chop with your right arm, way out ahead. And then drag that arm back into your shoulder socket. And then lift up. Check the elevations of your foot and your hand. Your gaze should be straight down. That will protect your cervical spine. Breathe in and out through your nose. And then on your next exhale, crunch, right elbow to left knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Pause here for a moment. And then awkward airplane. Right arm out to the right, left leg out to the left. Your gaze is still down at the mat. And out. Extend. Out to the side. Pause here. Lower that left foot. Lower the right hand. Walk your hands back up. Standing on your right knee. Check your left foot to make sure that it's pointed forwards. And on an inhale, bring that right arm up overhead. Really reach up. And then on an exhale, side bend to the left. Remember, you can always take that left arm behind your back. Maybe you'll feel this a little bit different. But this is getting your obliques. It's getting muscles of your rotator cuff. And then on your next inhale, rise all the way back up. Bring your hands to the mat. Your knee back down. We'll do a couple of cat cows. And the next time you come to center, pause. From here, lift your left leg up and back again. Push that heel away. And have no expectations that this pose on this side, dragon, is going to be as enjoyable or as terrifying as the last side. So on an exhale, bring that left foot beside your left pinky finger. Move that right leg back an inch or so. And then you have an option of high flying dragon with your palms on the mat. Straighten your spine, whichever you choose. Either high flyer or baby dragon. Now, baby dragon seems a little less intense on the left hip, but it's just as intense, or maybe more so on your right hip. Breathe into where you feel the sensations most. Maybe you can feel your hips dropping with each exhale. Maybe not. You're trying to get a reaction from your muscles, trying to get them to soften. If you want, you can even take your hand, run across the front side of your pelvis, because that's where your iliacus and your psoas come, just in front of your pelvis before it connects to the top of your femur. You can stay here if you wish, or if you'd like to go into low flying dragon, you can bring your hands to the mat. You can walk that left foot out to the side if you wish. Make this into a winged dragon. You come down on blocks. Try to keep your spine straight. But the most important thing is to relax. And if after a minute you're not relaxed, just back up. Back up to a place where your body can relax. Every pose is different. And the way your body responds is different every time you do the pose. When your mind gets busy, and it probably will at some point, note what the thought is, deepen your breath and begin again. Your mind's job is to hijack everything that your body does and direct how it does it. Your breath is your tool to control your mind, to keep your mind occupied by following your breath and by observing what your body is feeling at this very second. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, bring your palms to the mat. Straighten your arms. Walk your hands back towards your right knee until you can free up that left leg to meet the right. And again, you have an opportunity for more cat-cows, or maybe a down dog. It's whatever your body will appreciate more show empathy to your own body. On your next exhale, carefully lower down your knees. And then come onto your less favorable hip and bring your feet around in front. We're going to come back down and do another reclining swan. So bring your elbows down. Come all the way down onto your back. Push your heels away. Lift your hands up towards the ceiling. And then down on the mat beyond your head. And stretch again. Palms away from your heels. Feeling your back body. And your fingers away from your toes. Feel your front body. Then bring your arms back down by your hips. Walk your footprints up towards your sit bones. Tuck your tailbone under, lift up. And then on the next exhale, come right back down. Grab your block. And again, on an inhale, lift up. Place the block flat way. And with your sacrum. Lower back down. Left foot up towards the ceiling. Every opportunity to stretch. Take it. And then bend that right left knee. Put the ankle over the top of your right thigh. And then draw that right knee up and into your chest. And make a bind behind the thigh, in front of the shin. And if your arms are short, maybe use a strap. Don't forget the modifications that I offered before. Now the glutes that you are engaging here are your maximus, which is the big outer one, the one that makes everybody's butt so beautiful. And then the medius. Until I took yoga, I thought it was meatus. But that actually is the middle of the three glutes. The minimus is very deep and does play a part with head ducting your legs, but not a lot. But your medius, despite the name, is actually toward the outside of your pelvis. And your maximus is towards the midline. Now, if you haven't moved your knee from one point to another, try it just to see what it's like. You feel with your hand on the outside, what you're feeling inside, and see if it matches up with what you were thinking. Odds are it'll be significantly different. begin to deepen your breath. And your next exhale, release your mind. Lower that right foot. Lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. Push your heel away, feeling that joint. And then bring your left foot down next to your right. Lift up, remove the block, come back down. Draw your knees into your chest and rock from left to right. The next pose is a seated pose. So again, you can cross your ankles and rock forwards and backwards. And come up to a seated position. Now, I'm going to offer two different options. The options are doing butterfly with the soles of your feet together, or doing a sukhasana with your legs folded, or a half camel or half lotus, doesn't matter. But this is going to be a forward fold. And you can also be sitting up on a block with your sit bones on the very front edge so that you're trying to tip the block forward. That will tip your pelvis forward and help you in your forward fold. From here, sit up tall. And then begin to walk your hands forward. You may want to have a block in front of you. Maybe you'll be able to rest your head on the block at some point. But continue forward until your body asks you to stop. Try to keep your sit bones engaged with your block or with the mat. Soften your lower belly. And when you get to that point to pause, allow your elbows to bend. Notice where the sensations are. This is a spine lengthener. But even as a spine lengthener, allow your spine to round. Allow your head to fall forward. And if your head is supported, that's good. If it's not, just move your head a little bit left to right to make sure that you don't have any residual tension. Try to soften your glutes. Soften your thighs. Allow your shoulder blades to just float. Let gravity take them wherever they want to go. And if your head is supported and you're feeling a lot of weight on your head, maybe just change the height of your block. Breathing in and out of your nose. You can probably hear your breath. Your lungs may be
impacted by this forward fold. So notice what parts of your lungs are doing most of the breathing for you. And observe whether or not your lungs are enjoying this position, regardless of what other body parts do. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, slowly walk your hands back, lifting up your chest, removing any blocks that you may have used. Use your hands to help your feet come back out to the front of the mat. Push your heels away. Bring your hands behind your hips. And just roll your feet from left to right. That will rotate your femurs and your hip sockets. And bend your knees, put your footprints on the mat. And notice your feet, your ankles, your knees, and your hips as you begin to windshield wiper your knees. These counter movements bring more oxygen, more water to the muscles in your fascia. The next time you come to center pause, stretch your feet out towards the front of the mat. Make sure you have a block handy and come down all the way onto your back. With your hands next to your hips. Walk your footprints up towards your sit bones one more time. This time we're going to do a supported bridge. So your block has 3 different elevations and you don't need to use a block. So that gives you 4 different elevations to use. We'll start by tucking the tailbone under again and then lift your hips up and just notice how high you are. And then come back down. The next time, place the block the highest way you're going to feel comfortable. And you can always change it. Inhale, go up. Place the block underneath your sacrum and lower back down. Maybe move your hips an inch to the left and the right, and forwards and backwards to make sure that you're stable. And if you're stable and you'd like to walk your feet out towards the front of the mat, go ahead. You can leave your footprints on the mat, or you can come all the way down onto your heels. You can bring your feet out wide if you wish, but that's not a requirement. From here, soften your glutes. Just let your feet flop in the wind. Feel the stretch across the front of your pelvis. That's your psoas and your iliacus muscles. Soften your abdomen. And if you'd like a little more intensity, you can always bring your arms up towards the ceiling and then lower them down onto the floor beyond your head. And find a place where your hands and your forearms are supported by the floor, even if you have to bring them back by your sides. Your body won't be able to soften. One set of muscles is fighting.
Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, bring your arms back down by your sides, next to your hips. When you're ready, bend your knees and walk your feet up towards your sit bones. Push the floor away, lifting your hips up, retrieve the block, set it aside, and come back down. Draw your knees into your chest and rock from left to right. Circles will feel good here. And then the next time you come to center, pause. Bring your arms out into T. Your knees are still into your chest. And on an exhale, lower your knees to the right. The heels off towards the left. You feel the stretch across your back. Your right hip to your left shoulder. You have the same options available. You can always straighten that left leg out towards the side wall. And then soften your belly. Your belly has a lot of twist in it, so that might be a challenge. Twisting your spine is a great way to release tension. But give the pose time to work. Soften your glutes. And if you detect some part of your body that's not relaxing, find a way to reach it with a hand. You touch it. You give it permission to relax. Breathe into those sensations. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, bring your knees back to center. Give yourself a squeeze. Rock from left to right or circles again. And the next time you come to center, pause. Release one leg out to the front corner of the mat. And then release the other leg out to the other corner. You can bring your arms by your side or out to the side or even up overhead, whatever works best for you. Maybe you want to roll your hips from side to side to find a perfect spot for your sacrum. Once you find it, become still.
Roll your head from left to right. And find that spot. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose. And exhale it out through your nose. Take another cleansing breath in through your nose. Out through your nose. And take rest. I'll be coming around and adjusting some of you. I will not be able to get to everyone, but if you do not want me to touch you, just wave me away when you hear my footprints. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into this space. Bring movement to your fingers, to your toes, to your wrists, and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. When you're ready, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones. Draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. And rock again, all the way from hip and shoulder on one side to hip and shoulder on the other. Massaging your spine. And the next time you come over towards the right side, pause there for just a moment in fetal pose, using your right arm as a pillow. You do a quick body scan to detect any tension or stress that may still be hiding in your tissues, so that you can address them later this week. And then, using the strength in your left hand, push the floor away, rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me this afternoon. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to improve the health of your mind, your body, and your breath through the practice of yoga. Use the compassion and empathy that you do on your mat and share it with your family, your friends, and each person you might meet. Namaste. My name is Clint, and this has been Yin Yoga. Thank you for coming.